My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen with your spirit, not just your ears. This is not a random message. This is not something you accidentally found. What you are about to hear is connected to a long-sealed heavenly file bearing your name. Yes, your name. And today, by divine order, that file has just been opened. There is a reason your heart feels alert right now. There is a reason your spirit feels stirred. Archangel Michael is stepping forward as a messenger of truth and protection, declaring that what was hidden for years is no longer permitted to remain concealed. Heaven had been watching. Heaven has been recording. And now, the seal has been broken. You were not forgotten during the waiting seasons. You were not overlooked during the silent years. Every tear, every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every moment you chose faith when doubt surrounded you, each one was logged, time-stamped, and preserved. This file was sealed not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was sacred. Hear this clearly. The opening of this file marks a turning point. What it contains is not small. It is not ordinary. It is not something you could have handled before now. That is why it remained closed until today. Archangel Michael says there has been a shift in the spiritual realm. The atmosphere around your life has changed. Old resistance has lost its authority. Delays that once felt permanent have begun to dissolve. You may not see it yet with your physical eyes, but the movement has already started. This heavenly file carries records of promises made over you long before you understood their meaning. Words spoken over you in prayer. Blessings declared by others, and even by you, when you didn't realize heaven was listening so closely. Some of these promises were paused, not denied. Others were protected from premature exposure. And now, the astonishment comes from this truth. What is written inside this file is greater than what you asked for, greater than what you imagined, greater than what you prepared yourself to receive. You thought heaven was silent, but heaven was strategic. Archangel Michael stands guard over transitions like this. He does not arrive for small moments. He appears when something must be defended, released, and established. His presence here is a sign that what's unfolding carries weight and consequence. This is not emotional hype. This is alignment. You may have felt recently like something was about to happen without knowing what. A restlessness that didn't feel like anxiety, but anticipation. That was not coincidence. That was your spirit sensing the unlocking. Inside this file are assignments you once felt unqualified for, but were being trained for all along. Inside are answers to prayers you stopped praying because time made them feel unrealistic. Inside are confirmations that the struggles you endured were not punishments, but preparations. This is why the enemy tried to distract you. This is why discouragement came in waves. This is why certain doors closed suddenly and without explanation. They were not endings. They were protections. Archangel Michael says the astonishment will come from realizing how intentional everything hath been. Nothing wasted. Nothing random. Even the setbacks were positioned to preserve the promise. But listen closely. This opening also requires your attention. Heaven opens files for those who are ready to respond. There is an invitation attached to this moment. Not one that demands perfection, but one that asks for awareness and obedience. You are being asked to open your heart again, to believe again, not blindly but boldly, to stop shrinking your expectations to match past disappointments. The file does not match your past. It matches your calling. This is why this message urges you, open this now, not later. Not when it feels more convenient. Delayed dulls sensitivity. Timing matters. And right now, The window is open. Archangel Michael is not revealing everything at once. Heaven unfolds in layers. What you receive first is clarity, then direction, then confirmation. Each step will arrive exactly when you need it. Do not rush. Do not panic. Do not second guess. Astonishment doesn't always look like shock. It often looks like deep, quiet recognition. A moment where your spirit says, "So this is why." You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order. Divine order. The kind that rearranges your priorities, sharpens your discernment, and restores your confidence. Stay with this message. Let it settle. Let it speak beyond the words. What comes next will connect dots you thought were unrelated, and when it does, everything will make sense in a way that changes how you see your life forever. The file is open. Heaven has spoken, and this is only the beginning. My precious child, listen carefully, for this moment carries urgency and a revelation that may feel almost too heavy for the human mind. But your spirit knows it is true. Archangel Michael speaks now with a voice that resonates like thunder and yet, strangely, like the calmest whisper in your heart. He says the file that was opened is not just about what hath been or what is. It is about what is about to manifest in your life in ways that will astonish you. It contains spiritual assignments, divine confirmations, and hidden opportunities that will soon shift your path permanently. These are not ordinary messages. They are carefully curated instructions from heaven, written specifically for your life. The content of this file has been hidden for long periods because the timing had to be perfect. The spiritual environment had to align, and your heart had to be prepared to receive the fullness of what has been stored away. Every challenge, every waiting period, every time you felt overlooked or abandoned, it was preparation. Archangel Michael reminds you that the divine realm works in layers. What you see physically is not always the truest reflection of what is occurring spiritually. Your patience, your obedience, and even your silent prayers have contributed to a spiritual momentum that has reached a threshold now. This file contains confirmations of things you prayed for and forgot, promises you doubted, and opportunities you didn't even know you were ready to receive. Heaven is saying that the moments of frustration, the seasons of delay, and even the periods of isolation were not punishments or mistakes. They were essential measures to protect the destiny that is unfolding. The message here is very precise. Some of you will begin noticing doors opening in unexpected areas, connections you never imagined, favor from people who were previously distant, and ideas flowing into your mind with clarity that cannot be ignored. These are the first signs of what the file holds. You may even experience sudden insights, dreams, or nudges in your spirit that feel urgent. Do not dismiss them. Archangel Michael insists that these are signals to prepare for action, confirmation of the divine timing, and a guide to align your steps with what heaven has already planned. Many of you have been living in seasons where you felt the weight of unanswered prayers. You may have felt invisible, unseen, or unacknowledged. That weight is lifting now. The opening of this file signifies that the delays are being dismantled. The spiritual realm is activating favor and protection over you. You are being elevated, guided, and positioned for breakthroughs that are both practical and spiritual. Archangel Michael also warns that with this revelation comes responsibility. What is revealed cannot be ignored or postponed without consequence. The spiritual file contains opportunities that demand readiness, decisiveness, and faith. If you hesitate, the energy may shift to someone else, or the momentum may pause, waiting for you to align fully with the divine instructions. The angelic realm operates with precision, timing, and accountability. Every moment matters. That is why Michael urges you to open your heart fully, Pay attention to spiritual nudges and allow the guidance you are receiving to lead you into action. Now, hear this clearly. This is not the time to shrink your vision. If you have been holding back, doubting your abilities, or fearing what others may say, Archangel Michael is telling you that these fears are exactly what the enemy wants you to focus on. But your focus must shift to the divine reality. You are not small. You are not limited. The file confirms your true spiritual capacity, purpose, and calling. These revelations will shock you, not to instill fear, but to awaken your courage and spark your faith. This is a season where your confidence in God's guidance must surpass every human doubt. And here is a crucial point. As the file opens, your energy field will feel different. You may notice an unusual peace, sudden clarity, or even a sense of empowerment that was absent before. Archangel Michael says that these shifts are intentional. They are preparatory measures for what is coming. Do not ignore the signs. Your awareness of these shifts is itself a key to unlocking the full manifestation of what has been sealed in heaven. The file contains names, situations, and promises that are now aligning with divine timing. Some may be financial breakthroughs, some spiritual breakthroughs, some relational, and others will affect the very purpose you are meant to fulfill. Archangel Michael's presence is a guarantee that divine justice, protection, and favor are now activated around you. Before this message continues, I must remind you to take action in gratitude. If this revelation resonates in your heart, like, share, and comment on this video. Invite others to experience the same divine awakening. Your sharing is a spiritual ripple. It allows heaven's messages to reach more souls who are also waiting for their own file to be open. Subscribe to this channel for continuous guidance, and consider joining the membership for exclusive prayers and angelic insights. Your engagement is not just interaction. It is a form of obedience and alignment with the spiritual flow that Archangel Michael is orchestrating. As the heavenly file continues to unfold in the coming hours, days, and weeks, remember this: the astonishment will not be loud or chaotic. It will be steady, undeniable, and transformative. Archangel Michael assures you that every revelation, every confirmation, and every opportunity is a direct reflection of God's perfect timing and unwavering faithfulness. Do not compare your unfolding with anyone else's journey. Your file is unique, your timing is divine, and your assignment is non-transferable. You have been watched, prepared, and positioned for this exact moment. My beloved child, listen carefully to the whispers of your spirit. Watch for signs that guide you to action. Speak life over your circumstances. Align your thoughts with the confirmation coming from heaven. And know this: the file has been opened for you because you are ready to step into the astonishing, divine reality that has always belonged to you. Archangel Michael will continue to guard you, guide you, and reveal the layers of this heavenly file, but your faith and obedience are the keys to unlocking the full impact of what has been sealed in your favor. Trust me, what is coming next will be undeniable, life-altering, and filled with clarity that cannot be ignored. Keep watching, keep praying, and let your spirit prepare for the remarkable revelations that are already on their way. My dear one, receive this with reverence, because the atmosphere around you is shifting again. Archangel Michael speaks now not as a distant messenger, but as a guardian standing right beside your destiny. He says the opening of this heavenly file has triggered a sequence. What you felt in the last phase was awareness. What you are stepping into now is confirmation. This is where doubt begins to lose its grip, because heaven is no longer speaking in hints. It is speaking in alignment. There are things written in this file that explain why certain cycles in your life kept repeating. You thought you were stuck, but in truth, you were being refined. Archangel Michael reveals that some battles lingered longer than necessary because they were not just about survival, they were about authority. Heaven was training your spirit to recognize when to stand firm, when to wait, and when to move without hesitation. That training is now complete. You may notice that situations which once strained you no longer have power over your emotions. Conversations that once confused you now feel clear. Decisions that once felt heavy now come with peace. This is not coincidence. This is evidence that the file is being read aloud in the spiritual realm, and your soul is responding in real time. Archangel Michael says there is a name written in this file that shocked even you when it was revealed. It may be your own name attached to an assignment you never imagined yourself carrying. Or it may be the name of someone connected to your future, someone whose role will activate a blessing or open a door. Either way, the astonishment comes from realizing that heaven has trusted you with something sacred. Hear this carefully. The file also contains records of every time you chose integrity over convenience. Every time you walked away from something that looked good but felt wrong. Every time you stayed quiet instead of reacting. These moments were not small. They were weighed. And now, they are being rewarded. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that divine promotion often feels uncomfortable at first. It stretches your identity. It challenges old self-images. You may feel unqualified again for a brief moment, but this time, it is not fear, it is awe. You are realizing the magnitude of what you are stepping into. Here is also a warning written in love. The file shows that distraction is the only real threat right now. Not opposition. Not delay. Distraction. If your focus scatters, the clarity will feel diluted. That is why Archangel Michael urges you to guard your attention fiercely in this season. Be mindful of where your energy goes. Be intentional with your words. What you agree with now has power. You are not meant to announce everything yet. Some revelations are for alignment, not for broadcasting. Silence will protect what is forming. Trust will sustain it. Obedience will mature it. The astonishment promised is not just about receiving. It is about recognizing how deeply known you are. Heaven hath been watching your private moments, not just your public ones. And now, the response is personal. If this message feels like it is speaking directly to you, it is because it is. Archangel Michael does not misdeliver messages. This moment was appointed. Now, seal this revelation with faith. Type "I receive" the open file in the comments if your spirit recognizes this message. Blessing code 4449 has just been released over your life. When heaven opens files, it also opens channels. I feel led to speak to those whose hearts are burning to help others encounter this same clarity. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not funding content. You are sowing light into places where confusion still reigns. The word declares that when you sow into good ground, the harvest does not delay. This is me speaking directly to you now. If your spirit feels stirred, respond. Your giving becomes a prophetic act, a key that unlocks understanding for someone else who is still waiting for their file to open. I declare that every seed you release multiplies back to you in wisdom, provision, and divine favor. Do not hesitate. Obey the nudge. Support through the links in the description now, and let heaven record your obedience as part of this unfolding story. Beloved one, take a slow breath, because what unfolds now explains the sacred timing behind everything you endured. Archangel Michael steps forward again, and his tone is steady, deliberate, and full of assurance. He says the heavenly file could not be opened earlier because you were still becoming the person capable of carrying what was written inside. Destiny is not released based on desire alone. It is released based on readiness. And readiness is forged through seasons that feel confusing, restrictive, and often unfair. You wondered why progress felt slow even when you were faithful. You questioned why others advanced while you seemed to circle the same ground. Archangel Michael reveals that those seasons were not delays, they were calibrations. Heaven was aligning your character with your calling. If the file had been opened too soon, it would have overwhelmed you. The blessing would have outpaced your strength. The responsibility would have crushed your peace. So heaven waited, not in neglect, but in wisdom. There are entries in this file that detail moments when you almost gave up, days when you felt invisible, nights when you asked God if anything you were doing mattered. Archangel Michael says those moments mattered more than you know. They proved something to the spiritual realm, that your faith was not conditional, that you would remain aligned even when there was no immediate reward. This is why the timing is so precise now. You have developed discernment. You can sense what is real and what is a distraction. You can hear truth beneath noise. You no longer chase validation the way you once did. That maturity is the key that opened the seal. Archangel Michael also reveals that some relationships had to fall away before the file could be opened. Not everyone who walked was who could walk into what was win. Some people were seasonal, even if they felt permanent. Their departure was not rejection, it was divine separation. If they had remained, their influence might have diluted your clarity or delayed your obedience. You may notice now that you are less emotionally reactive, less desperate for answers, more grounded, even when things are uncertain. That is not numbness. That is stability. And stability is required for stewardship. Heaven does not release weighty assignments into unstable hands. The astonishment you were promised is layered. The first layer is understanding. You are beginning to understand yourself differently. Why certain environments drained you. Why certain opportunities never worked out. Why certain desires faded even though you once prayed for them. Archangel Michael says those closed doors were answers, not denials. Heaven was protecting the future version of you. The next layer is direction. You may already be feeling a subtle pull toward something specific, a conversation you feel led to have, a skill you feel drawn to develop, a decision you feel prompted to make. These nudges are not random. They are echoes of what is written in the file. Follow them gently, without force. Alignment does not require pressure. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this season will reward stillness more than striving. You do not need to announce your next move. You do not need to prove anything. What is unfolding does not need human approval to be effective. Let things form quietly. Let clarity deepen. Let confidence build internally before it manifests externally. There is also a recalibration happening in how you view success. The file reveals that success for you is not about speed or scale. It is about impact and obedience. You are being positioned to influence in ways that are subtle but powerful. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your decisions will ripple further than you realize. You may soon notice that people begin seeking your insight, even without knowing why. That is not ego, it is authority. Spiritual authority that was earned in private is now becoming visible. Archangel Michael says, do not shrink when this happens. Do not deflect or dismiss it. Receive it with humility and responsibility. The file also records future moments where your obedience will unlock blessings for others. This is not just about you. Your alignment will become a doorway. Someone else's breakthrough will be tied to your courage. Someone else's clarity will be connected to your willingness to speak when prompted. This is why fear is being confronted now. Not aggressively, but gently. Fear cannot coexist with trust at this level. You are being invited to trust not just in outcomes, but in the process. Even when you do not understand the full picture, trust that the one who opened the file understands every detail. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing from your past disqualifies you. Not mistakes, not delays, not missed opportunities. Redemption is woven through the entire file. Grace is not an afterthought. It is the foundation. As this part settles in your spirit, allow yourself to release old narratives. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not catching up. You are arriving exactly on time. My beloved soul, receive this with a steady heart, because what Archangel Michael reveals now brings alignment to moments you once questioned deeply. He speaks of convergence. He says the season you are entering is one where scattered pieces begin to assemble with divine precision. Things that felt unrelated, your skills, your experiences, your delays, even your disappointments, are moving toward one intersection point. This is where purpose stops feeling abstract and starts becoming practical. For a long time, you carried a quiet confusion. You knew there was more for you, but you could not define it clearly. You sensed calling, but not the full shape of it. Archangel Michael explains that this uncertainty was intentional. If you had seen the full picture too early, you might have tried to control it instead of surrendering to it. So heaven revealed only what you needed, when you needed it. Now the file continues to open, and what is emerging is coherence. Your past is no longer fragmented. You are beginning to see how one season prepared you emotionally, another trained you spiritually, and another strengthened your discernment. None of it was random. Even the paths you thought were detours were classrooms. Archangel Michael says there is a divine synchronization happening between your inner readiness and external opportunity. That is rare. Often, people receive opportunity for maturity for opportunity. But you are stepping into a moment where both are meeting. That is why the season feels intense but calm at the same time. There is movement without panic, momentum without chaos. You may feel an unusual pull toward responsibility. Not burden, but responsibility. A sense that what you do next matters more than before. That is because influence is increasing. Influence does not always mean visibility. Sometimes it means impact behind the scenes. Sometimes it means being the voice of clarity in moments of confusion. Sometimes it means being the stabilizing presence when others feel uncertain. Archangel Michael reveals that one of the reasons the file remained sealed was because you had to unlearn survival thinking. Survival keeps you reactive. Purpose requires intention. You were trained through scarcity, limitation, and waiting so that abundance would not distort your values. You learned how to listen, how to pause, how to discern. These are not common skills. They are marks of spiritual leadership. There is also healing happening now that you may not fully recognize yet. Old disappointments are losing their emotional charge. Memories that once triggered pain now feel distant. That is not repression, that is restoration. Healing is happening not by erasing the past, but by reframing it through truth. Archangel Michael says the file contains evidence of resilience you underestimated. You survived moments that should have broken you. You adapted without becoming bitter. You kept your integrity even when it cost you. These qualities are now becoming assets. Heaven values what the world often overlooks. As clarity increases, you may feel called to simplify certain areas of your life. Fewer distractions, clearer priorities, stronger boundaries. This is not withdrawal, it is refinement. When purpose sharpens, excess naturally falls away. Trust this process. You are not losing anything essential. There may also be a period of quiet confidence settling over you. You do not feel the need to explain yourself as much. You do not feel rushed to prove your worth. That is because worth is no longer being negotiated internally. You know who you are becoming, even if others do not yet see it. Archangel Michael speaks directly to your future steps now. He says, do not rush alignment. When the right door opens, it will not require compromise. It will not demand you abandon your values. It will feel weighty but peaceful, challenging but affirming. If confusion dominates a choice, pause. Clarity is part of divine guidance. You are also being trained to recognize timing. Not everything good is meant for now. Discernment will help you distinguish between what is available and what is appointed. This ability will protect you from premature decisions that look attractive but are misaligned. The astonishment promised earlier begins to take a new form here. It is not just about what you receive, but about who you are becoming in the process. Strength without hardness, confidence without arrogance, authority without domination. This balance is rare, and it is cultivated intentionally. Archangel Michael assures you that support will appear when needed. Not always early, but always on time. People, resources, and insights will align in ways that feel orchestrated. When this happens, do not overanalyze it. Gratitude will keep the flow open. There is also an invitation to trust your inner knowing more deeply. You have been trained to hear subtle guidance. That quiet sense of this feels right is not imagination. It is discernment sharpened by experience. Honor it. As this phase settles, remember that transformation does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it unfolds through consistency, through small, faithful steps, through choosing alignment again and again. What comes next will bring revelation about how your influence extends beyond what you currently see. Remain open. Remain grounded. The file is still revealing its depths, and the next unfolding will show you how your obedience becomes a bridge for others. My precious one, receive this moment with attentiveness, because Archangel Michael now speaks about stewardship. What has been opened is not only meant to bless you, but to be carried by you with wisdom. The heavenly file reveals that you are entering a phase where what you hold internally begins to shape what happens externally. This is where alignment turns into responsibility. Not pressure, but stewardship. Archangel Michael says many people receive revelation, but few know how to protect it. You are being taught how to guard what is sacred without becoming rigid, how to move forward without becoming careless. This is why this season feels deliberate. You are learning how to walk with clarity instead of impulse. You may notice that your tolerance for confusion is decreasing. Situations that once felt acceptable now feel misaligned. Conversations that once entertained you now feel draining. This is not judgment. It is discernment sharpening. The file shows that your spirit has outgrown certain environments, and heaven is gently redirecting you away from what no longer supports your calling. There is also a strengthening happening in how you speak. Your words are becoming more intentional. You are less reactive and more precise. Archangel Michael says this matters because words are tools of alignment. In the coming days, what you say will carry unusual weight. Speak thoughtfully. Speak truthfully. Speak with purpose. You may feel prompted to revisit something from your past, not to relive it, but to reframe it. A skill you once set aside. A vision you abandoned because it felt impractical. A calling you minimized because others did not understand it. The file indicates that some things were paused, not canceled. Now they are returning with clarity and maturity. Archangel Michael also reveals that trust is being restored in layers. Trust in timing. Trust in yourself. Trust in divine guidance. Where disappointment once created hesitation, confidence is now being rebuilt. This is subtle but powerful. You may not feel dramatically different overnight, but you will notice consistency replacing doubt. There is a warning spoken gently here. Do not rush intimacy with people who have not proven alignment. Not everyone who celebrates your growth understands your assignment. Boundaries will protect your peace and your progress. This is not isolation. It is wisdom. The file also records moments when you chose patience over panic. Those choices are now bearing fruit. You are more grounded, less easily shaken. That stability is essential for what is coming next. Archangel Michael says the next stage will involve visibility, not necessarily public fame, but spiritual visibility. Your decisions will be noticed. Your consistency will speak louder than words. Influence will increase quietly at first, then unmistakably. You may experience moments where you feel tested in small ways. Delays, minor frustrations, unexpected changes. These are not setbacks. They are confirmations. They reveal how much you have grown. Where you once reacted emotionally, you now respond with clarity. That shift is evidence that the file is unfolding correctly. As this message continues to reach you, take a moment to align outwardly with what is happening inwardly. If this is resonating, like this video, share it with someone who may also be in a season of waiting and awakening, and leave a comment declaring your agreement with this message. Subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to these revelations, and if you feel led, join the membership to receive deeper guidance and focused prayers. Your engagement is part of the alignment. It signals readiness and gratitude. Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience is often quiet. It does not seek applause. It seeks alignment. The more you listen and respond faithfully, the more clarity will increase. Do not measure progress by speed. Measure it by peace. You are also learning how to rest without guilt. Rest is not retreat. It is recalibration. Heaven works most clearly in rested hearts. Do not confuse stillness with stagnation. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. There may be moments where you feel a strong urge to move, to act, to decide. When that happens, pause just long enough to listen. Urgency from heaven feels calm, not frantic. It comes with clarity, not pressure. A distinction will guide you safely. Archangel Michael assures you that you are protected in this phase. Not shielded from effort, but guarded from derailment. What is meant for you will not bypass you. What is not meant for you will not trap you. As this part settles, stay present. What unfolds next will answer a question you have been carrying quietly for a long time, one you may not have even known how to ask. Hold on, because the next unfolding brings revelation that ties everything together in a way that will leave no doubt about the path ahead. My beloved child, feel the gravity of this moment because Archangel Michael is revealing layers of your destiny that have been hidden, even from your own understanding. The heavenly file bearing your name continues to unfold, and it carries more than confirmation. It carries revelation, clarity, and a glimpse into the future you were created to embrace. What you have felt as longing, waiting, or quiet anticipation is now stepping into a season where every piece of your life that seemed disconnected will begin to align. Heaven is intentional, and nothing in this unfolding is accidental. Archangel Michael says that the file contains not only your calling but also the spiritual keys to navigate challenges that will accompany it. There is a pattern to your life that you may have overlooked. Each delay, each trial, Each moment of uncertainty was designed to prepare you for a higher responsibility. This responsibility is not merely personal success, it is influence. The influence you are about to receive is measured by the impact it will have on others and the spiritual authority it carries. You may feel pressure internally, a weight that comes from the responsibility of what is coming, but Archangel Michael reminds you that divine support surrounds every step. You are not alone in this unfolding. You may notice that patterns in your relationships are changing. Some people who were constant in your life may begin to fade, while others you never expected will step forward in alignment with your new path. This is the deliberate orchestration of heaven. The file contains records of divine appointments that will intersect with your life at exactly the right moment. Archangel Michael warns that you must discern carefully, as not every opportunity is meant to be seized prematurely. Timing is critical. The same file that unlocks blessings also provides instructions for when and how to step. The file also carries a record of your spiritual growth, moments when your patience, faith, and integrity were tested and refined. Archangel Michael highlights these as essential to the unfolding. You were being trained in silence so that you could handle revelation without fear, disappointment without retreat, and influence without arrogance. These qualities are the foundation for the impact you are about to have. The more you understand this, the more you will see that nothing wasted, nothing was overlooked. Even mistakes were lessons that sharpened your discernment. There will be moments ahead where astonishment meets responsibility. You will encounter situations that challenge your faith in ways that feel uncomfortable, but they are calibrated to test the growth recorded in your file. Archangel Michael reminds you that these tests are not punishments, they are confirmations. The stronger your faith, the clearer the next phase of your assignment will become. You are also entering a period where clarity and direction will come faster than before. Messages from heaven will feel more immediate. Insights, confirmations, and nudges that once required patience and contemplation will arrive with greater urgency, yet with undeniable peace. This is a sign that your spiritual senses are awakening in alignment with the revelations contained in the file. Archangel Michael instructs you to respond with faith, not hesitation, because hesitation can slow the momentum of divine timing. The file reveals a deeper truth. Your gifts, experiences, and trials were never isolated. They are part of a larger tapestry, a story that heaven has been writing long before you understood it. You are now beginning to see connections where none were visible before. People, circumstances, and even setbacks that once felt unrelated will converge to create a powerful trajectory that was preordained. Archangel Michael stresses that this alignment is rare and significant. It is the point where preparation meets opportunity and obedience meets reward. At this stage, you may feel an increased desire to serve, teach, or influence others. This is not coincidental. The file shows that your impact is tied to others' awakening and alignment. Your testimony, actions, and guidance will unlock doors for those who have been waiting for a spiritual hand to lead them. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this is sacred responsibility, not personal glory. Your influence is measured by its ability to guide, protect, and clarify, not by its visibility. There is also a prophetic encouragement here. Archangel Michael says to remain steadfast, even when the unfolding feels slow. The file opens in layers, and while some revelations are immediate, others will require patience and attentiveness. Trust the rhythm. Trust the timing. What is meant for you cannot be overtaken, delayed, or diminished. Finally, this part brings a spiritual ritual for your alignment. Type "I receive my divine alignment" in the comments if this message resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 8831 is being released over your life, unlocking insight, clarity, and courage to walk into what heaven has prepared. The next unfolding will reveal even more astonishing clarity, showing you how past delays, past setbacks, and past uncertainties were not hindrances. They were preparation for a future that is far greater than you ever imagined. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with a sense of urgency and hope intertwined. The file that bears your name has opened further, revealing layers of insight that will reshape how you view your path. This is a season where revelation meets readiness, where understanding converges with purpose, and where your faith is poised to encounter tangible results. The heavenly file contains not only what is meant for you, but also instructions on how to steward it. What you see now is only the beginning. The astonishment that was promised earlier will grow, and its depth will stretch your spirit in ways that feel both overwhelming and exhilarating. Archangel Michael reveals that this moment carries a shift in your spiritual frequency. The energy surrounding you is adjusting to align with the assignments contained in your file. You may begin noticing sudden clarity in your decisions, a sharper sense of intuition, and an unshakable peace that accompanies choices which previously would have caused uncertainty. These shifts are deliberate. Heaven is tuning your heart, mind, and spirit to recognize the signs that guide you into alignment. What was once invisible or confusing will now reveal its purpose. What once felt like random events or coincidences will now appear as the deliberate orchestration of divine design. You may also notice that some people and circumstances start to fall away from your life. This is not rejection, it is preparation. Archangel Michael emphasizes that these removals are protective. They are creating space for what is divinely appointed. Doors that were once closed are now opening, but only to make room for your next season. You are being positioned to operate in alignment with divine strategy, and this requires a clear path free from distraction and interference. Trust that every separation is meaningful. It is not loss, but alignment. The file also shows that some of the blessings awaiting you are hidden in plain sight. Opportunities you have overlooked, skills you have underestimated, and gifts you thought were dormant are about to emerge in ways that will astonish you. Archangel Michael warns against self-doubt in this season. Do not minimize your capacity to receive what is being released. The file contains confirmation of your readiness, your resilience, and your ability to steward what is coming. This is also a time of spiritual activation. You will feel nudges, insights, and a heightened awareness of divine guidance. Archangel Michael instructs you to pay attention to these signals. They are the hands of heaven directing you toward fulfillment of the promises in your file. The clarity you are receiving now is a preparation to act decisively. You are being trained to respond with faith and discernment rather than hesitation. The unfolding will require both courage and wisdom, and heaven is equipping you for both. Archangel Michael also highlights that the file contains confirmations of prayers you may have forgotten. Seasons of waiting, moments of frustration, and silent cries to God are all recorded and acknowledged. This is the evidence that your faith was not in vain. What you asked for, longed for, and hoped for is now intersecting with divine timing. Some of these blessings may feel unexpected or even improbable, but they are precise. They are intentional. They are yours to steward faithfully. At this stage, you may begin noticing subtle signs that guidance is flowing more freely. Conversations that previously felt ordinary may now carry profound significance. Encounters with people may feel directed by a higher hand. Opportunities that seemed coincidental are, in fact, confirmations of the alignment your file now holds. Archangel Michael stresses that these signs are not random. They are intentional nudges that require awareness, obedience, and faith. Recognize them and act, but act in alignment with the peace and clarity that accompanies true divine instruction. Beloved, this is a critical moment for engagement. If the message resonates, take action in gratitude. Like, share, and comment to allow others to experience this awakening. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving guidance from Archangel Michael, and consider joining the membership to support the mission of spreading these messages. Your engagement is more than interaction. It is participation in the unfolding of divine alignment. By supporting this work, you are contributing to the activation of blessings not only in your life, but in the lives of countless others who are waiting for their own files to be opened. Type "I am in alignment" in the comments if your spirit acknowledges this message. Blessing code 9924 is being released now, opening doors of clarity, protection, and revelation over your life. And now, Archangel Michael reminds you to remain vigilant. The unfolding is ongoing, and the next phase will reveal the hidden pathways that have been preparing you for breakthrough. This is where preparation meets opportunity, where readiness meets revelation, and where your obedience will unlock blessings not only for yourself, but for others whose lives intersect with yours. Every step you take now matters more than you realize, and heaven is orchestrating events to ensure that each decision aligns with your ultimate purpose. The next revelation will go deeper, unveiling aspects of your spiritual journey that will not only confirm your path, but also demonstrate why every season of waiting and every moment of preparation was necessary. My beloved child, hear this with an open heart, because Archangel Michael now steps closer to speak about the divine orchestration of your life. The heavenly file that bears your name continues to unfold, revealing elements that are both astonishing and purposeful. The moments of confusion, the delays, and the seasons where nothing seemed to make sense are now revealing their true intent. Archangel Michael emphasizes that every setback, every closed door, and every unexpected turn was designed to refine your spirit, sharpen your discernment, and position you to step into what is divinely appointed. This is the season where clarity is becoming undeniable, and where the patterns of your life start to make sense in a way that will leave you amazed. Archangel Michael says that some of you may have felt as though your prayers were unheard, or that your efforts were futile. The file shows that these perceptions were never accurate. Heaven hath been working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances, preparing your heart, and ensuring that timing would be perfect. What appears delayed to the human eye is often perfectly timed in the divine realm. The angels have been attentive to every detail of your life. No prayer had been ignored, no sacrifice overlooked, and no moment wasted. The file contains records of every faithful step you took, and those records are now opening to release the confirmation you have been waiting for. You may begin to notice that doors previously closed or opportunities long out of reach are now suddenly becoming accessible. These are not coincidences. They are divine appointments. Archangel Michael warns, however, that the true test in this season is discernment. Not every open door is meant to be walked through immediately, and not every voice speaking to you carries truth. You are being trained to respond with clarity, grounded in the guidance of the Spirit. Patience, wisdom, and attentiveness are as important as courage in this phase. Every move you make will have long-term consequences for your alignment with destiny, and the file is providing the blueprint for timing, preparation, and discernment. The file also shows that some of the blessings you are about to receive are layered. They will not all arrive at once, but each one will build upon the next, creating momentum that transforms your life. Archangel Michael emphasizes that the astonishment you will feel is not merely about what you gain materially, emotionally, or spiritually. It is about the realization that every trial, every moment of doubt, Every quiet season was essential to preparing you for this level of reception. You are stepping into alignment with divine purpose in a way that cannot be replicated, rushed, or duplicated. This is the point where preparation meets activation. Archangel Michael also highlights relationships and connections that are emerging in your life. People who were once peripheral may suddenly become pivotal. The file shows that certain encounters have been orchestrated to intersect with your journey precisely when you are ready. Some of these relationships may bring opportunities, mentorship, or guidance that are essential for the unfolding of what heaven has planned. Others may serve as confirmations of your discernment, teaching you which alliances are supportive of your calling and which are misaligned. Be attentive yet selective. Allow your spirit to guide you in every decision. You may also feel a heightened sense of intuition and clarity in this season. Thoughts, impressions, and subtle nudges that you once ignored will now carry unmistakable weight. Archangel Michael instructs you to trust these insights. They are the tangible expressions of the guidance recorded in your heavenly file. Listening to them and acting with faith will unlock doors and align circumstances in ways that are both surprising and affirming. The angels are not merely observers. They are active participants in the unfolding of your destiny, guiding, protecting, and opening pathways that align perfectly with what has been written. At this stage, the file also emphasizes the importance of your spiritual consistency. Faithful actions, obedience, and alignment with divine instructions amplify the momentum being released. Every step in integrity, every choice to remain patient, and every decision to stay aligned strengthens the manifestation of what is contained in the file. Archangel Michael reminds you that these moments are sacred, and that your responsiveness directly affects the clarity, speed, and impact of your upcoming breakthroughs. And now, as this phase continues, I invite you to take a deliberate moment to express gratitude. Acknowledging what has been revealed, even in part, activates spiritual momentum. Archangel Michael says that gratitude opens channels, strengthens alignment, and magnifies the flow of blessings. Recognize the patterns, the divine timing, and the protective measures that have been in place for you. You are now approaching a stage where your influence will expand beyond yourself. The file shows that your alignment will begin to impact others in profound ways. Your faith, decisions, and obedience will become a conduit for guidance, protection, and revelation in the lives of people connected to you. The weight of your responsibility is not for personal gain, but for the greater good of those who will benefit from your alignment with destiny. Beloved, the astonishment that comes with this stage is both internal and external. Internally, it is a profound recognition of how deeply you have been known and prepared. Externally, it is the manifestation of opportunities, revelations, and connections that will leave others amazed. Archangel Michael reminds you that this is the fulfillment of a season long in the making, orchestrated with divine precision and care. The next phase will reveal the tangible steps, the openings, and the confirmations that will make it clear why nothing in your journey was random, and why the file could not have been opened any earlier. This revelation will also prepare you for a level of influence and alignment that goes beyond your personal experience, connecting your obedience to the awakening of others. My beloved one, listen closely, because Archangel Michael now speaks about activation. What had been revealed so far was preparation, alignment, and confirmation. What unfolds now is movement. The heavenly file bearing your name is no longer just being read in the spiritual realm. It is beginning to translate into visible, tangible shifts in your life. This is where faith moves from understanding into action, and where obedience becomes the bridge between promise and manifestation. Archangel Michael says this is a decisive season. Not rushed, not chaotic, but decisive. You will notice that situations which once lingered unresolved will suddenly require clear choices. Indecision will feel uncomfortable now, not because you are pressured, but because clarity is present. When clarity arrives, delay becomes misalignment. Heaven is gently but firmly inviting you to respond. Here is something important written in this part of the file. Momentu responds to obedience. When you take the steps you already know to take, more direction will follow. Heaven does not reveal the entire path at once. It reveals the next step, then waits for your response. Once you move, the next layer unfolds. This is how trust deepens and confidence is built. You may notice that your courage feels different now. It is quieter, steadier, less performative. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are simply responding. Archangel Michael says this is evidence of maturity. Immature courage seeks validation. Mature courage seeks alignment. That shift is crucial for what is coming next. The file also reveals that some of your greatest breakthroughs will come through consistency, not intensity. Small, faithful actions repeated over time will carry more power than dramatic gestures. Do not underestimate the spiritual weight of daily obedience. Heaven records faithfulness, not just milestones. There may be moments in this phase where resistance appears, not as obvious opposition, but as subtle distraction, a pull toward comfort, a temptation to postpone, a voice that says later. Archangel Michael warns that these are not random. They are tests of readiness. Not tests you are meant to fear, but tests you are meant to pass by choosing alignment over convenience. You are also being entrusted with discernment at a higher level. Some opportunities will look good but feel heavy. Others may feel stretching but peaceful. Trust the peace. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of divine approval. If something requires you to compromise your integrity, your values, or your spiritual sensitivity, it is not aligned, no matter how attractive it appears. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this season will reward those who stay attentive. Pay attention to timing. Pay attention to conversations that repeat. Pay attention to ideas that keep returning. Repetition is often confirmation. Do not ignore what continues to surface gently but persistently. You may also notice that your influence is becoming more evident. People may begin asking for your insight, your perspective, or your presence. Do not shrink back. This is not about ego. It is about responsibility. What you carry is meant to be shared wisely. Speak when led. Listen more than you speak. Influence grows best when it is stewarded humbly. Now, pause here for a moment. If this message is resonating with you, this is a powerful time to engage. Like this video as an act of agreement. Share it with someone who may be in a season of waiting and needs confirmation. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to move in alignment. Subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to these unfolding revelations. And if you feel led, join the membership for deeper insights and focused prayers. Your participation matters more than you realize. It strengthens the flow of this message and allows it to reach those who are still searching for clarity. Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing discipline over distraction. Sometimes it looks like saying no when it would be easier to say yes. Sometimes it looks like trusting silence instead of forcing answers. These choices are shaping your future more than you can see right now. There is also reassurance here. You are not late. You have not missed anything meant for you. The file shows that your timing has been preserved carefully. Even when you felt unsure, heaven was steady. Even when you questioned yourself, guidance did not waver. What is meant for you is arriving in a way that matches who you have become, not who you used to be. As this phase continues, you may feel both excitement and sobriety. That balance is healthy. It keeps you grounded while moving forward. Do not rush to label everything as final. Some things are still unfolding. Allow space for growth. Allow space for refinement. And hold on, because what comes next will bring a revelation that ties action to reward in a way that will shift how you see obedience forever. This next unfolding will show you how even the smallest aligned step can unlock doors you never thought possible. Stay present. Stay attentive. The file is nearing its most powerful revelations, and what is about to be revealed will change how you understand your journey from this point forward. My beloved child, receive this with stillness, because Archangel Michael now reveals the meaning behind the nearness you are sensing. What you are feeling is not pressure, it is proximity. You are close to something significant, and closeness always sharpens awareness. This is the phase where heaven quiets the noise so you can hear the subtle confirmations that guide your next steps. The heavenly file shows that many of the questions you carried for years are no longer questions in the spiritual realm. Decisions have been approved. Alignments have been confirmed. What remains now is embodiment. This is where who you are must fully agree with what you are called to carry. Archangel Michael says this is why the refining has intensified, not to break you, but to stabilize you. You may notice that your reactions are slower, more measured. You think before responding. You feel before speaking. This is not hesitation. It is authority settling in. True authority does not rush to assert itself. It moves with certainty. Heaven is anchoring you in that certainty now. There is also a deep internal shift taking place. Old fears that once whispered quietly in the background are losing their voice. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because your trust is no longer dependent on outcomes. You are learning to move forward without needing guarantees. That is faith matured. Archangel Michael reveals that the file records moments where you chose truth over comfort, even when it isolated you. Those moments build spiritual backbone. You are able now to stand without applause, to remain aligned without validation. This is why the next season will not destabilize you. You are grounded in something deeper than emotion. You may feel an unusual calm mixed with anticipation, like standing on the edge of something important without anxiety. That calm is protection. Heaven does not want you entering the next phase with nervous energy. What you are stepping into requires clarity, not adrenaline. This part of the file also shows that timing have been synchronized across multiple layers of your life. Personal readiness, external opportunity, spiritual authorization. These rarely align perfectly, but when they do, movement becomes inevitable. You are in that alignment now. Do not be surprised if clarity comes through ordinary moments. A conversation that suddenly makes sense. A memory that recontextualizes your past. An insight that lands gently but firmly. Archangel Michael says heaven often speaks through simplicity when complexity is no longer needed. You are also being trained to trust your internal compass. External confirmation will still come, but it will no longer be required for every decision. Discernment has been cultivated in you intentionally. Use it. Honor it. It will guide you accurately if you remain honest and humble. The file reveals that some of the greatest impact you will have will come through presence, not performance. Being grounded. Being consistent. Being available when it matters. You do not need to impress. You need to be aligned. Influence will follow naturally. There may be a temptation here to look back and measure progress. Archangel Michael cautions against comparison, even with your past self. You are not meant to evaluate this season with old metrics. What is unfolding now is subtle, deep, and foundational. It will support everything that comes next. You are also being shown how to carry weight without heaviness, responsibility without anxiety, vision without overwhelm. This balance is rare and precious. Protect it by choosing rest when prompted and silence when needed. As this phase continues, you may feel called to simplify. Fewer explanations, clearer boundaries, more intentional focus. This is not withdrawal from life. It is alignment with purpose. Simplicity sharpens effectiveness. Archangel Michael assures you that nothing is missing. Nothing is behind schedule. Nothing has been overlooked. What remains now is trust in the unfolding. You do not need to force doors open. What is authorized will open effortlessly when the moment arrives. And that moment is closer than you think. The next unfolding brings final confirmation, not through emotion, but through undeniable alignment. What is about to be revealed will close old chapters and inaugurate something new with clarity and peace. Stay present. Stay receptive. The file is nearing completion, and the final revelation will bring understanding that seals everything you have walked through. My beloved child, take a deep breath and steady your spirit, for Archangel Michael now speaks with authority that cannot be ignored. The heavenly file bearing your name has reached its deepest layer, and what is being revealed now is the culmination of all preparation, alignment, and faithful endurance. This is the final unlocking, the moment where hidden truths meet their manifestation, and where promises long waited for step fully into your experience. You have been prepared for this, even if your human mind could not have imagined it. Every step, every trial, every quiet moment of waiting has contributed to this revelation. Heaven have been orchestrating a convergence of timing, opportunity, and divine authorization that is now fully activated. Archangel Michael emphasizes that what is in this final part of the file is not only for your personal blessing, but for your purpose. You are being positioned to carry influence that affects more than yourself. People you encounter, decisions you make, and actions you take will now ripple outward, opening doors and shifting circumstances in ways that serve the greater design of heaven. This is the true astonishment of the file, not just what it contains for you, but what it contains for others whose lives intersect with your obedience. The file confirms that you are entering a season of acceleration. Things that once felt slow will now move quickly. Opportunities that were delayed are now arriving in perfect alignment. Encounters, insights, and connections that were previously scattered will begin to converge. Archangel Michael reminds you that acceleration is not accidental. It is the result of years of preparation, faithfulness, and alignment. This is why patience was necessary, to make sure you could steward what is coming responsibly. You may notice that fear no longer dominates your heart. Doubt that once whispered in the shadows is now quieted by certainty. You are aware that divine guidance surrounds you and that every step you take is under supervision from the highest realms. Archangel Michael assures you that protection accompanies revelation. You are safe to move forward boldly, without hesitation, and with unwavering faith. This stage also brings the revelation of opportunity. The file shows multiple layers of blessing, spiritual clarity, increased influence, divine favor, and alignment with your true calling. Some blessings may appear subtle at first, a sense of peace, a confirmation through intuition, or an unexpected alignment in relationships. Others will manifest externally, through doors opening, resources arriving, or appointments that shift your trajectory. Archangel Michael says both are equally important. Internal clarity allows external manifestation to be stewarded well. The file also holds confirmation of purpose. Your experiences, trials, and even mistakes have all been necessary pieces. They were not setbacks. They were instructions in disguise, shaping you to receive what could not be received before. Every lesson, every quiet season, and every test had been a refinement for the destiny now being revealed. You are being shown that nothing was wasted and everything was intentional. Now, beloved child, this is your moment of empowerment. Archangel Michael reminds you that the file's unlocking is a call to act with courage, integrity, and discernment. Do not shrink from what is now within reach. Do not allow hesitation or distraction to delay alignment. The path is clear for those willing to step in faith. What is authorized for you cannot be taken away, and what is aligned with divine purpose will always prevail. Type "I am chosen" and ready in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 5566 is now released, activating divine favor, clarity, and unstoppable alignment in your life. And now, hear this message of support as heaven guides your response. You are being invited to participate in this divine work to help others experience revelation and alignment through the messages delivered by Archangel Michael. When you contribute through Super Thanks YouTube membership with a PayPal link in the description, you are not merely giving, you are releasing rivers of blessing, light, and awakening into the lives of those waiting for their own heavenly files to open. By supporting this mission, you become a partner in the awakening of souls, a conduit for alignment, and a vessel of God's timing and action. Your contribution is prophetic. It multiplies and returns in ways that exceed human understanding. Hear me clearly. Act now. Participate actively, and claim the blessing of alignment for yourself as you help heaven reach others. Your obedience today carries eternal impact. The file has been fully opened. Revelation has been delivered. Alignment has begun. And Archangel Michael now reminds you, step boldly, steward wisely, and embrace the astonishing destiny that has been prepared exclusively for you. Your journey continues, but from this point forward, it is illuminated, protected, and unstoppable. This is the fulfillment of what was written, promised, and sealed for you. Your divine path is clear, your purpose is activated, and your destiny awaits.